In whatever endeavor you set out on, if we competed, I would crush you. Fitness, music, drawing, whatever you want, I will overtake you. Not because I work harder than you, but because I leverage my time and effort effectively. And thereby, I become capable of achieving more in 1 hour than you do in 1 week. So today, I'm going to level the playing field. And to illustrate this, I'm going to tell you a story. It is the story of a young and old lumberjack. A young and an old lumberjack sit down together one evening at the bar. The young lumberjack boasts about how he can work from dusk till dawn all day, every day. Yeah, and so he goes up to the old lumberjack and bets that he can cut more wood than him in 1 day. The old lumberjack accepts his offer, and on the dawn of the next day, the competition starts. The young lumberjack does exactly as he always does. From the first light of dawn, he's outside with his axe and already chopping. The old lumberjack snoozes till noon. When he gets out and starts working, the old lumberjack also takes many breaks. He drinks tea, he even takes naps. And so the young lumberjack obviously looks at him and thinks, I'm going to win this. The old fart's not even trying. He's practically handing the victory over to him. And yet, at the end of the day, when they measure how much wood they've each chopped, on the day, the old lumberjack won. Not even just by a small amount, but by a large amount. And so the obvious question becomes why? The young lumberjack doesn't understand it. He simply looks oi, at the massive pile the old man has gotten next to his own. The old man who put in less effort, worked less, snoozed, drank tea, took breaks, doesn't just doesn't compute in his mind. And so the old man tells him why he won. He says that yes, he sat down often, but every time I sat down, I sharpened my axe. And that's really the secret. Even God took a day off. So, how do you actually implement the lesson from this practically? Well, what you absolutely do not do is sit down and scroll endlessly. That's taxing for the brain too. You don't sit down and play video games or eat junk food or laze around. That's not what I'm telling you to do at all. I'm not telling you to have a negative relationship with work either, seeing it as something bad to be minimized or endured. What I am saying is to not be afraid to leverage your time and thereby sharpen your axe. And how do you do this? Exercise, meditate, read, go outside, talk with your dad, play with your cat, spend more time living and improving rather than simply cashing out what you're currently able to do. Because that's what you're doing when you're putting in all the work now. You can work all day, but if you have a blunt axe, like the young man did, the old man with the sharp axe is going to beat you. Therefore, the only logical thing to do is sit down and sharpen your axe. Which you do by doing all the things I just told you. As for how you can free up the time to actually do that, you do it by following. You implement the 80-20 rule and Parkinson's law to reduce your work hours and thereby free up time to sharpen yourself so that you are more effective in work. The 80-20 or Pareto's law, as it is also often called, was discovered by an Italian economist slash sociologist who discovered a grossly uneven but predictable outcome of wealth in society. Namely, that 80% of all of the wealth was owned and produced by 20% of the population. However, very soon people realized that this concept also applied outside of economics. Indeed, it could be found almost everywhere. For example, in Pareto's garden, 80% of all the peas came from 20% of the pea pods he planted. Ah, my nose is a bit stuffy. Ah. Thereby, in most work situations as well, 80% of all of the results of that work come from 20% of the effort and time. Ah, which is to say, let's say you have a 10-hour workday. Following the Pareto principle, 80% of all the actual results of that day would have been achieved in the first 2 hours of the workday. You would be spending the remaining 8 to get the remaining 20%. And out of those remaining 20%, the majority of them would still be achieved within the first second hour of that or so. So you could get probably about 90% of all the results in 3 hours instead of spending an additional 7 to get 10% extra. Those additional 7 hours could instead be spent sharpening your axe, as I told you. Again, exercise, meditate, blah 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 blah. You understand the general premise by now, don't you? I at least hope you do, otherwise, you haven't been paying attention and you have been a very, very bad student. Bad dog. This is fun. This is really, really fun. I get to be the shitty teacher I've always wanted to be. Oh, if only you were sitting right here, I'd boop you over the snoot with a newspaper. ah. As for forcing you to actually get all of this stuff done within those first 3 hours, the way you would do it would be by implementing Parkinson's law, not Parkinson's disease. That's not going to help your productivity very much, but Parkinson's law, which very simply states that a task will swell in perceived time and in perceived complexity and importance in correlation with the amount of time allotted to its completion. What does that mean? It means that the more time you give something, the more important and complex it is perceived by you to be. Ergo, you are going to fill out the time required to complete it based on the amount of time allotted to its completion. For example, if I give you a workday of 8 hours, you will find activity to fill 8 hours. If I gave you a 15-hour workday, you would find activity to fill a 15-hour workday. But if you suddenly have an emergency and you have to leave in no late and you have to leave in 2 hours at maximum, but you have pending deadlines that absolutely cannot wait, you are going to miraculously finish those deadlines in 2 hours when day before would have taken you 8. This is Parkinson's law in action, and you can leverage it by making your allotted work time short. Keeping it short is going to force you to focus on execution and get it done quickly. This is why I also set myself a limit every day. I am not allowed to work past 11 a.m. Past that point, I am not allowed to work at all. That forces me to prioritize and get things done quickly. So, ironically, by limiting the amount of time I spend working, I've actually dramatically improved my productivity. It is the same for you. And so, by implementing these things, you can be like the old lumberjack, getting more done with less input because you are sharpening your axe. Meanwhile, the long, the long lumberjack, the young lumberjack, keeps battering away all day with a blunt axe. But if you would like my help implementing any of this, then you can schedule a call with me using the link in the description. Oh, you could also go to buy me a coffee and support there if that's outside your price range, where I will be posting daily challenges for you to complete to help you along on your self improvement journey. Oi! You could also follow me on the Funny Picture app, also known as Instagram, if you want to deepen your parasocial relationship with me. And you can share this video with a friend who may benefit from its message. And always remember that as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. Now, class is dismissed. Get out of here. Get out. Bye.